And we're back for more Versus Live as we run Simic Nexus through the Gauntlet of Standard. So far, we took a draw against Esper Control. I won game 1. Game 2 was super long, where I basically decked myself via my own Nezahal.
Yeah. Game 1, I had no ways to win. Game 2, you ended up having no ways to win.
Yeah. It's a pretty interesting occurrence that happened after sideboard. Not having access to Nexus of Fate after I sided them out meant it was significantly easier to deck me, which was interesting. And then on top of that, just not having that burst of to give myself a window to resolve like 2 big things by casting Nexus of Fate during your end step.
Yeah, picking the fight on your opponent's turn is really strong. You lost that tactical option.
Yeah, and Wilderness Reclamation being vulnerable to Mortify had me siding it out, but I mean, then a bunch of my cards just stopped working. You know, I don't have the luxury to activate Memorial to Genius or even Arch of Vraska. So, you know, I lose out on a lot of stuff, but at no point did I ever have fewer than 3 cards in hand, really. And you really just grinded me out of everything relevant. Thought Erasure really flexing his muscles, making me discard 2 Carnage Tyrants. I didn't get to cast a single one.
Yep.
Kai's Wrath after sideboard being a clean answer to a lot of my Frilled Mystics or stuff like Hydro Crassus is a pretty big bummer from my side. So I got to reevaluate the matchup. If there was a tournament match, 1-0-1 me. I'm going to call it a draw because you won that game. That's fine. We wouldn't have finished the match.
No.
Yeah, so for match 2, though, we're going to be running this Simic Nexus deck up against something a little tougher, I would say. What are you playing?
I'm playing Azorius Aggro. This is Jacob Hagan's winning list from his team with Ryan Overturf and Liz Lynn last weekend in Baltimore. Pretty straightforward. He went with 1 Tithe Taker and 3 Adanto Vanguards, kind of a weird split when normally you've seen 4 of one or the other. So we'll hopefully get to see both in action over the course of the match. Blue Splash, of course, for counterspells. He's got a 2-2-2 split on Spell, Pierce, Negate, Disdainful Stroke.
Nice.
So we'll get to see all the different counterspells in action as well. And other than that, like the normal white aggressive decks that you've been used to seeing, History of Benalia, Conclave Tribunal, Legion's Landing, a bunch of Savannah Lions with upside. So really strong deck, a deck that I played towards the end of last season, played at the Invitational and really liked it. And we're just going to try to lay the beatdowns and, end this one in a hurry because we're already behind schedule.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Rob, hit us a couple questions. We're going to re-roll dice again. You call it? I assume odd.
Yeah.
You always call it odd. It's odd. You win. Hit us.
All right. Here we go. Another one from Asteus. Todd, what are your preferences for playing versus commentating?
You can call me a capitalist. That's fine. But I like money. And whenever I commentate, I get money. Whenever I play, don't always get money. As far as the rush I get from doing either, obviously winning a tournament feels amazing. But there's something special about being able to sit in the booth with someone as amazing as either Cedric Phillips, Ryan Overturf, or even Brian Gottlieb this past weekend, and basically bring y'all the type of content that I would like to see, And for as long as I've been making Magic content, I've tried my best to be entertaining, as well as informative. And over the last few years, I just petitioned Cedric constantly, like, put me in the booth, let me show you what I can do. And I think people are really liking it. So I'm very happy to continue doing it this weekend in Dallas for your viewing pleasure. And yeah. Plus, there's no way I'm going to fly to Dallas for a tournament. Be clear. Star City's buying my flight, okay? They're paying me money to commentate. It's way better. I wouldn't be there otherwise. I would just be at home playing on Magic Online PTQ, or MCQ, excuse me, branding. So, take what you can get, I guess. All right, 2 more.
All right. Sly RZ. What did you guys think of Tommy Ashton's Grixis Phoenix list in Legacy?
Love it. Looks sweet. I definitely think that shell has a lot of potential.
What do you think about no Faithless looting?
That's what I've been seeing. Like, looting isn't a great card unless you're discarding Phoenix, which is awkward because then you have to draw both. Buried Alive doesn't have that issue and is more explosive, especially in combination with Dark Ritual. I really want to pair it with Unmask because the prospect of going Unmask, take your Force of Will, land Dark Ritual, Buried Alive on turn 1.
Or after sideboard, take your Surgical Extraction.
Exactly, take your Surgical too. Like, I think that is super strong and is a way to go with the deck.
So my way that I'm gonna try next, I've already tried effectively just a black-red version that had 4 therapy, Thoughtseize, and Unmask, and that as well as the Faithless Looting package. No blue.
Young Pyromancer Unmask you, also great.
Yeah, Young Pyromancer Cabal Therapy, also super good.
Yeah.
The thing is, I kept getting the Phoenixes onto the battlefield quickly, but I would eventually run out of stuff, and my opponent would sometimes kill them, and then I didn't have that string of like Ponder, Preordained, Brainstorm to bring them back. And that was occasionally problematic, and I would run out of gas. So what I want to try next is either Mardu, where I'm going to try like Bedlam Reveler, Lingering Souls, or I'm going to just play straight black-red and go super hard on Bedlam Reveler. The card that I think is missing from the deck that I was really liking, I actually had the Entomb Reanimate package in my deck as well, because there are some times where you go discard spell, cast Entomb for 1 Phoenix or whatever, and then attack for 3, and then you have a clock. You've disrupted your opponent a reasonable amount, and any future Buried Alive can still get 3 of them. What I want to try is a package that has Entomb that goes and gets like Bloodghast or Dread Return, and really put an emphasis on Young Pyromancer to do a little more of the heavy lifting. And at some point, just like you might draw Bedlam Reveler, and then it's going to be able to refill your hand and hopefully be able to recast those Phoenixes from the graveyard. So.
Yeah, I'm in for this. So I think that's definitely the next unexplored horizon for Legacy, and Tommy has put it off to a very good start.
All right, well, let's go and get to the match. We got a long day ahead still. One more match after this. This one might be a quick one, though. We'll see what happens.
I got a solid hand.
All right.
Snap keep.
Yeah, let's go.
Playing Sky Marcher Aspirant.
Yep. We got an island. No, Simic Guildgate Island in hand. Excuse me.
Shock to 18. Play a Vanguard. Attack for 2.
18 all.
Yes.
Hopefully this is a matchup where you actually get to see your turn. The fogs, the root snares actually shine. Right now, though, we're under the gun. We don't have a whole lot of interaction.
Hunted Witness. Dauntless Bodyguard. Protect the Aspirant. Conclave Tribunal this search.
Okay.
Pass.
I'm not sure if I actually hate that more or less than just hitting me in the face for 5.
I'm not sure either, but I think stopping you from fixing your draws is really important.
What would you say here if I cast the worst Hydroid Crassus imaginable, but...
Might be right.
I think it's right.
You've got plenty of other things to do with your mana.
This is why Hydroid Crassus is great.
Yep, just 3 mana, 1/1 flyer.
Yeah, and it's going to block that Dauntless Bodyguard. And haha, no 3rd land for your history, Benalia. Block Dauntless Bodyguard.
Yeah, take 6.
12.
Play another Aspirant.
Yep.
2, 4. Yeah, I didn't miss out on City's Blessing by trading first, but...
All right, 10, go.
Okay, well, no Reclamation I like.
Yeah, if I had Reclamation here, we'd get the ball rolling.
So this is 8 right now.
Yep.
So I'll go to 16 and make it lethal.
Nope.
Tilt.
Why'd you run into that, you dum-dum? You don't even have City's Blessing.
That didn't go so well.
All right. Block here, take
6.
4.
4, go. Still lethal next turn, so I think it's good to run into it, actually.
Play Memorial to Genius. Your turn.
Hey, mush you.
Play a Frilled Mystic.
Yeah, gotta block this one to stay alive.
Sure.
I'll go to 12, you go to 1.
Yep. Frilled Mystic, not at its best in this matchup.
Play a history, get a knight. Pass the turn.
In this matchup. Draw. Ooh, we might be doing it. Oh, no, we're not doing it.
We are decidedly not doing it.
We're not doing anything with this extra mana we have off of the Root Snare. All right, go. I need to draw. If I draw Williams Reclamation next turn, I might actually be able to just steal the game. We'll see.
Make a knight.
Yep.
City's Blessing.
Yeah,
got him.
Got me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Declare Dex.
Yeah. Root Snare. Sure.
Go.
We're doing it. Hold on. In a turn 2, 7.
You have 1 left.
Yeah, untap. Sorry, this shuffles in.
Oh no.
We're doing it! I have a precog in my hand that I've been waiting to figure out a window to use. So I have to precog into Nexus Plus or Root Snare Plus. Okay.
I wonder if I end up killing you if I don't walk into that Frilled Mystic.
Maybe.
Like if I just attack first, you probably have to Frilled Mystic, and then I play the
Well, you still
Lord.
don't kill me that turn. You still just put
Yeah.
me to 1.
But like then I play the Lord after combat, and then
Oh.
next turn the Frilled Mystic probably doesn't save you, so you have to Root Snare then, and then I kill you the turn you actually Root Snared. So I probably did just screw this game up.
All right, so we hit Nexus and an untapped land, which is actually exactly what
You
we
want to
needed.
scry the other one to the bottom?
So Blink of an Eye. How good is that
That one doesn't seem good at all.
Probably not good. Okay. All right, so draw, land, in turn, float 2.
So now we can Nexus with 2 mana up. Actually, you probably should. If you could Nexus with 2 mana up, you should blink, right?
Yeah, you tricked me.
No worries. You can take it back.
All right, blink this.
Yeah,
get
because,
search back.
because this is what you want. You need some way to start generating cards.
All right, so
Actually, that's actually just perfect. Because you have 6 cards down in the graveyards, you just get to mill whatever, transform the search. Like, unless it's another Escanter or another Nexus. Yeah, I screwed this game up. I should have won on my previous turns, but I got antsy to try to like force a Root Snare early. Played into a Frilled Mystic like a doofus.
All right.
And then Todd 4-outed me.
Oh yeah. All right, so Escanta, graveyard.
Yep.
Draw for turn. Activate.
Tilt.
All right, so this activates again. This is cast Nexus, so we can play this tapped. Flip 4, untap. 1 floating. Activate. Get Chemisters. 3, 4, 5, 6.
Nexus was 1.
Nexus. This is what the deck does. And once I find a Root Snare, you know, I actually have 3 of those left, and the 4 Nexus are always going to be in here. So that'll buy us another turn since his deck basically just wins by attacking. Look at him. Look at his face. It's such a beautiful picture of the sad Ross. All right, untap. Draw off turn. Oh, weird. With your Nexus made off the top.
We're gonna have to start using proxy Nexuses in here.
I
I can go get some mountains if you want me to. Yeah.
I'm just gonna, eliminate all suspicion. Just gonna do it again, okay?
But I'm not saying
Would
you're
you
doing
like
it
to cut?
purposefully. I'm just saying there's a reason why they're required to be like either double slaved.
Yeah,
or
because when
proxied
you
in.
look at the deck, you can see them as marked, but it's not like they float magically to the top.
It's easier to cut to them.
I think
I'm not
Scooter
cutting
has
to them.
Scooter has the right idea here. I need to have Sound of Silence queued up for Ross's reaction shot.
All right, draw for turn. All right, now I might actually die. So let's start with Skepta. 3, 4. Okay, we found this. This is actually pretty helpful.
It's just a bunch of extra mana and another Escanta activation.
Yep. All right, so let's start getting some mana floatings. There's never colorless. Don't worry about that.
You have an Arch of Haraska on the battlefield, Todd.
Oh, you're right. Rats. Okay.
You also have the City's Blessing, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was actually looking for, and then you grabbed that. So let's go Growth Spiral, draw. All right, 2 untaps. We'll go to 1 untap. Okay, we'll activate. Is this good? Damn it. I want that Root Snare too, though. Are we just quitting? Are you quitting?
I'm done.
You're quitting?
I figured out what my mistake was.
You're quitting? Where are you going?
Finny.
Isn't this something that definitely belongs to be illegal and standard? It's so much fun. Oh, it's so stupid. Oh, it's not fair.
Just get got.
All right, we're going to take 3 minutes here. We're going to figure out sideboarding. Don't go anywhere. Be right back with more Versus Live.
And we're back here on Versus Live with Azorius Aggro versus Simic Nexus. On my side, easy 7 cards to bring in, a bunch of counter spells, and an extra blue source. Really unsure as to what I'm siding out. I think Loxodon and Snubhorn Sentry are two of the weaker creatures in the deck, though Loxodon does create huge battlefields quickly to start forcing fogs early on. So I don't think I don't want to flood on them, because this really isn't about getting a big battlefield to win combat. It's about coming out quickly. And so the first one has a lot of value. Similarly, Snubhorn Sentry, while not good on turn 1, is going to be a 3/3 in this matchup very quickly. And that might represent more damage than Hunted Witness, so I'm not really sure which one is better. So you'll probably see me make changes for game 3 should we go to game 3. And while Deputy and Conclave Tribunal are answers to Sorcerer's Canta and Wilderness Reclamation, usually Reclamation it's often coming down the turn that Todd wins, as we saw in that game. So Sorcery Speed answers are a problem. And in this matchup, you can't make your deck too reactive. We're bringing in 6 counter spells. We already have 6 reactive cards in the main. I think if we had 10 or 12 of them in the post-board configuration, we would just be too slow and give Todd time to play a lot of card advantage spells and just grind through them. So I'm leaving in 3 Tribunals. I think the one I cast early in game 1 was very effective. I kind of want to have exactly 1. So we're playing around with the numbers a bit. We'll probably make some changes for game 3 as I get more of a feel for the matchup. But I know the kind of things I want to be doing. I just don't know exactly how to fine-tune it.
Right. For my side, Frilled Mystic felt pretty weak that game. If Ross just decides to not attack into, or not play his Banaush Marshal into my Frilled Mystic there, I don't get to counter it. I have to take a huge chunk of damage, or just play like a naked Frilled Mystic and block and still go to the same life total, and then he can follow that with the post-combat History of Benalia, and then my second Frilled Mystic that I played on the following turn would not have been able to save me like it did. And I think that was a key point in the game where Ross had recognized between games when we were talking about sideboarding, where that was a key mistake. And hopefully that, with them coming out of my deck, that won't end up being an issue for game 2. Not really sure how to sideboard, though, other than that. Like, none of these cards actually feel that good. Black Orm is really expensive, but it could buy me enough time if I'm able to, cast a couple of Growth Spirals. Or once I start going off, just gaining 7 can buy me, a full extra turn if I get to untap with it. I'm not really huge on it, but I don't really have a whole lot else in my sideboard. Sagittarius Volley, you don't have, any flyers in that version, right?
Yeah. Unless I have the City's Blessing. I have...
Right.
Aspirant.
Negate could be an issue or an option for helping me. Actually, I'm just going to do Negate. I think it's going to be a fight over those cheap counterspells that he's going to be bringing in. And Negate can also stop stuff like Conclave Tribunal and History of Benalia. So we're just going to do Negate instead of the other, because I don't really feel like bringing a bunch of 7-drops into my deck.
Notably, Negate, not great against Spell Pierce.
No, it's not.
All right, so question here from Sunset Campsparilla. Ross, what's your opinion on when you should concede against the Nexus decks? Would you have conceded in that spot if this were an actual tournament? I assume no.
Given that I'm playing a fast deck, that's one of my main considerations is how quickly can I win games 2 and 3, and so how valuable is the time. So given I'm playing a fast deck, I would probably make them play it out a little more. And I would certainly want to see a 0-win condition other than Frilled Mystic. I'm assuming Hydroid Crisis, but maybe they have something else.
And some lists only play 1 Hydroid Crisis, so me having to burn the one early just to survive.
I actually went into did this in the first Open in Indy. I played against a Simic Nexus deck, and I had killed a Hydroid Crisis early, and he had discarded a Murmuring Mystic at some point to hand size. And this is game 1. And all I can do at a certain point is hold up a removal spell and pass, and they start going off, drawing everything, and I'm sitting there just waiting for them to show me something to kill me with, and then I was going to concede. That was the point in my head, and my opponent starts going off for 10 minutes. I'm about to concede anyway because I'm playing Sultai. It's going to take a while, and that eventually he just sort of shrugs and goes, "Show me a removal spell and I'll concede," because he just had 1 Crisis and no way to protect it left in his deck.
Wow.
So I just stole game 1.
Nice.
So sometimes there's some value in waiting, but yeah, I would have given it a bit longer there in an actual tournament just because I'm playing a fast deck. But in a slow deck, I'm going to be a little bit more judicious in saving time.
All right. I have mulligan my 7, which contains 6 lands, into a very decent 6. I
haven't even looked at my 7.
I know, it's because you're too busy shuffling.
I love shuffling.
I know. It's not great.
My hand's great.
Okay.
I'm on the play. Sky Marcher Aspirant. Best
Great.
1-drop.
Your turn.
200 witnesses attacking for 2.
18.
Go.
Your turn.
Benelish Marshall.
Yeah.
Attack you for 7.
Go to 11.
Pass the turn.
Growth Spiral.
So right now, these 100 witnesses have looked a little bit better than Snubborn Sentry. They've dealt 2 extra damage. Is this a Reclamation?
Yep. Go.
Okay. This is for, unfortunately, 10. 2, 4, 7, 10.
I'll go to 1.
That's actually rough because I drew history here. So this is for this would be exactly the City's Blessing. So I would have attacked for 2 less damage last turn, but 4 more damage this turn. So a net gain of 2 and it would have been lethal. So that's
All right. Growth Spiral.
Yep.
Growth Spiral.
I'll Spell Pierce that.
Okay.
I don't think I'm getting to Spell Pierce anything else once this Reclamation is here. Like I literally can't Spell Pierce a Nexus.
Draw for
I'm
turn.
not Spell Piercing the Fog. Definitely thought I had to get. Well, I didn't have the 4th. I guess I did have the 4th lands. Maybe I'm supposed to wait a turn on the Marshal in case Todd has Growth Spiral into Reclamation immediately. But I think I have to put pressure on him. Is that all on the bottom?
Yep.
I like that.
Wasn't great. All right. Your turn on your upkeep.
Upkeep, yeah. Definitely want to upkeep this Fog against the tapped out opponent with negates in their deck.
Did I have an untapped land? No, I didn't. Okay.
All
right. Yeah, I'll reach there.
I have City's Blessing if that. It's relevant. 3, 4, 7, 10. Okay, draw this. Make another night.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
All right. Don't have anything to use that 4 mana with, unfortunately, but let's draw for turn.
I was going to say maybe I should just not look at the card to not give Todd a read, but if it's Conclave Tribunal, I 100% want to cast it. So.
Right. So. This taps. I'm going to cast a Search for Sconto.
Sure.
Okay. Mood Incept, trigger, float 4.
Yep.
Precog.
Yep.
Pass turn.
Upkeep.
We'll go for a Root Snare.
Resolves.
Still on your upkeep. I'm going to cast a Chemister.
Resolves.
Okay. You may continue. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that was one good draw.
Assuming you're taking this.
Not sure.
Okay.
The Escanta is really good here.
We have Chemister in the graveyard, so I think you
anyway.
just have to take Reclamation.
Yeah, that's probably true. Okay. Without the Chemisters, it's close, but I think you're right. With the Chemisters, it's... I'm just going to leave it 1 both games. That would be a tilt. The problem here is that Blink of an Eye just cleanly deals with Tribunal. Lets him get back the Reclamation, even drawing a card at no mana, or don't draw a card and net 2 mana. I guess... No, the net is dependent on lands, but... Okay, I like the pause here. The pause here is a sign of a man that doesn't have everything he needs.
It's true. Trying to figure things out. So I have this, and I'm pretty sure I need to do Blink so I can draw a card, because I don't have a Fog or a Nexus yet.
Yeah,
But
Blink is just Wilderness Reclamation, but draw a card. But if you brick, then
you
it's
get
worse.
to cast it again, so I think I just take Reclamation.
The thing is, if you give me an extra turn, I guess if you have a Fog, I like Reclamation.
I don't have Fog. I also don't know if I played a land this turn yet, and that actually matters a lot. Ask chat. Ask chat if I played a land before I activated Esconto.
We'll see what they say.
Well,
I'm either doing this or Growth Spiral into a land into this.
I have 12 cards, and I was on the play, so I've taken 6 turns. So you've taken 6 turns now, and
I've cast 2 Growth Spirals.
one of them got Spell Pierce.
And-
It seems like everyone's saying no, you haven't.
So you should have 8 lands, but the Escanta doesn't count. So yes, you can play a land.
Land. Growth Spiral, draw, play land, place Wilderness Reclamation.
Yep. Untap your lands.
Okay.
Activate search. Unless you want to Nexus.
I don't have Nexus. That's
Okay.
the problem. I think I might have been able to cast Nexus of Fate here if I had not played the Growth Spiral. So that might have been a pretty big mistake. Oh no, I was one land short because I played a land and used it already. So I guess I couldn't have done this and Nexus. Okay, top 4. Not quite yet.
I mean, you had 5 mana, right? You could have just played Reclamation, then floated 1. Oh, but then you'd have 1 for your land. Yeah.
Right. All right, I'm going to Chemister.
Okay.
Got a 2 outer. And done.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, that's super close. That Conclave was pretty big.
As was, I guess, like I would have gotten a chance to Spell Pierce something else, but maybe you just have a bunch of extra mana. I'm not sure if using that Spell Pierce so aggressively was right.
On the first precog, I bottomed a
Well,
blink, and I shouldn't have.
You tapped out for a precog that afterwards.
No, I could have just not. If you were
Yeah.
holding up the blue mana, which I was going to play around Pierce, but when you had no cards and no mana, then
Oh, yeah, because you already
I got the Scry. So
Yeah, so I just gave. So I took away a Growth Spiral, but I gave you a Scry 3 at the very least. So it's probably bad to use that Pierce then, I guess. I think when you're early in the stages of going off, you're trying to go off on 4 or 5 lands. You're often going to have to tap out for things to Nexus. So the Spell Pierce is probably more valuable than I envisioned.
a couple questions while we're shuffling.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but just more with today. What are your thoughts on possible bannings in Standard?
I mean, I don't think the card Nexus Fate is okay. I mean, from Power Load perspective, after Sideboard, you see like basically every deck has access to lowering their curve and having a bunch of means of interaction.
I'm going to try all 4 sentries this game.
But I think what that does is actually encourages basically every deck to tilt blue as a third color or even second color. And I don't think that that's particularly healthy because the easiest way to disrupt this deck is Disdainful Stroke, Spell Pierce, and Negate. Discard spells don't work that well because they get to shuffle in the Nexus if you make them discard it, and they can just find them again. And they have just an insane amount of raw card draw. So the easiest way to beat them is to just use a 2-mana spell like Negate to deal with their 7-mana spell like Nexus, or to counter the Reclamation before they get any value out of it. So that's something I'm not a huge fan of. I think also if Best of One becomes like a significant part of Magic, Wilderness Reclamation and Nexus Phase is not okay. So,
is it funny to you that we released 5 new guilds in the set, and the guild that benefited the most was Dimir?
wait, why?
Huh? Well, it ended up benefiting most because now we have the mana to just like splash Dimir cards rather than relying on the Dimir guild.
Mm-hmm.
And Dimir has 2 really, really good cards, at Thief of Sanity and Thought Erasure.
Yeah, that's true.
And so now every deck is just like the 2 top decks are both blue-black. This is not a 7 I can keep. A 1-lander that's Glacial Fortress with no disruption.
Todd, you had mentioned before you weren't entirely opposed to the idea of an errata on the cards. If you were to do that with Nexus, what would you do?
I don't know. Well, first of all, I think Nexus of Fate in real life is stupid because if you try to play in a tournament, you're about 50-50 to get a game loss unless you go get a proxy from the judge. First of all, that's just poor decision making as far as distribution is concerned on WotC's side of things, and I hate that part of Nexus of Fate for live play. As far as errataing it, I don't know that there is a way to errata that makes sense without completely altering the functionality of the card. Okay, so after some technical difficulties, we are back. Someone asked the question, is there a way that you could errata Nexus of Fate for Magic Arena? And the way they errated a few cards already that were in Standard over the past few years, one of which was Teferi being forced to untap 2 tapped lands was sometimes a little awkward because you were forced to untap your opponent's lands if you didn't end your turn with 2 tapped lands. So that was a little strange. I believe there was another card. Oh yeah, Elixir of Immortality said shuffle into your library instead of its owner's library. So they had to like errata that before it came out, so it didn't. If your opponent stole yours with something, you know. So they have errata things before when it made intuitive sense and it didn't change the functionality of the card. The problem is if they try to errata anything on the card Nexus of Fate, I think that they are going to run into some problems that the functionality of the card is going to change. Like, I don't even really know where you would go as far as errataing this card. Like, maybe it says the shuffle in is on resolution. So if your opponent makes you discard it, it doesn't go away. Or if you counter it, it goes to the graveyard. I mean, maybe, but that's not what it says on the card, Like, it was built in such a way where you could just draw, discard if you want to, and never deck. That's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, every aspect of it is important to the card's functionality, so I'm not sure what they can do. But...
Hey, we're back with more Versus Live. We are in the middle of our Azorius Aggro v Simic Nexus matchup. It is 1-1. Our internet troubles seem to have dissipated, but if they come back, do not quote me on that. I lost game 2. I'm going to be on the play.
That's above our pay grade.
Yeah.
I don't know how the magic boxes work.
Yeah, I mean, there's cords everywhere. There's like something over there in the corner that just has an antenna and is blinking.
They kept talking about megabits.
Yeah, and bit rates.
Yeah. Oh, is that related to Bitcoin?
I left my magic wand at home, so I couldn't fix it immediately. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ross is mulligan to 6.
My 6 is medium, but it's definitely a keeper, and I'm hoping my scry is good.
Oh, I got the worst land in the deck.
That seems like a fine draw here because I'll be able to cast it later.
Oh, no. I lost game 2.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, that's even better because now I have Aspirin on turn 1.
Oh, lucky. Well, we didn't draw anything good, so we're going to play this breeding pool.
Okay. Well, I'll attack you for 2.
I'm at 18.
And I'll play an Adonta Vanguard.
Yep.
That's the turn. We're going to play this one fast and loose because we lost a little bit of time.
Yeah. Well, we're going to play it loose.
We'll shoot for 5.
I'm at 13.
Play another Adonta Vanguard.
Yup.
Play a Snowborn.
Yup.
Pass the turn.
Land?
7 permanents
Come
right now.
on. Go. If you don't play a blue source, I'll be pretty happy if I draw a land next turn, but...
Attack you for 8.
8. So I'll go to 5.
Pass the turn.
Land. Ooh, baby. We're doing it. Untap. Go.
Awkward.
Probably should have root snared last turn. I may have made a mistake.
Conclave Tribunal.
We'll negate that and then root snare.
Tilt. I needed to play the Tribunal there to get to the City's Blessing, unfortunately. And I was hoping that, like, it would, having negate plus root snare there is pretty devastating.
So eat.
What are you at right now?
5.
I guess I didn't even need to make this City's big, but I was going to cast Tribunal that turn anyway, so.
Okay, I can gamble a little here. I have a Hydroid Crassus. I can play it for X equals 2, go to 6 and draw a card and have a blocker for this. That would require him to not have a permanent though, right? For
yes,
8, 9.
I'm on 9.
So that's not great. So I'm just going to float 4 and then Nexus. Then just try again. We really needed a land to be able to do all the things we wanted to do. But that's okay. Sometimes you don't draw the land. Alright. Cut, please. So you can't complain.
I can always complain.
That's true. Alright. Root snare? Okay. That's a good start. Reclamation. First untap.
Yeah. So now we're at 4 floating.
Yeah, I'll just... Nexus again, I guess.
Okay.
Cut. Next turn. Draw for turn. Okay. Chemister, draw 2.
That's pretty good.
We've had it for a while. Play this tapped. First on tap. We will Draw 3 with a precog. Second untap. I'm in some trouble here.
We're going to get there?
I think you are.
Nobody knows except for Todd.
Yeah.
And I guess the people watching the camera behind Todd, which is basically everyone but me. That doesn't seem fair.
No, it's just this. Just one more shot. I don't have another untap, right? So 4.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Actually hit a Nexus of Fate, but I was a little short. So I'm dead. That's unfortunate.
Didn't even need the blue source.
Yeah, I don't know. I needed to hit a land at some point in there so I could make like a slightly bigger Grassus. Like Reclamation over and over again was pretty good, but I just needed like one more turn basically.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
kinda
like
how it
all-
goes against the aggro decks. Dude.
All 3 of those games were like came down to one turn either way, but definitely a deck that struggles a bit with the aggressive decks. We've seen like your Teamer versions playing some removal in the main to buy extra time. The Bantless often play Revitalize that buys extra time and cantrips. So, you know, maybe that's where these Simic lists are going to be struggling. But last week was a week where we saw dominated by Sultai and Esper Control. And so the extra color for better cards against aggressive decks wasn't needed. So could be a list that is better in those kinds of metagames.
Mm-hmm. I think one part that I may have messed up on was when I was at 13 and you attacked me for 8 down to 5, I could have cast a Root Snare on that turn, and then the next turn when I drew the 4th land, I missed my land drop 1. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
But the turn where I didn't, where I hit, I could have gone Reclamation into Chemisters and started pushing me towards more land drops as well as the other cards that I started digging into. That would have allowed your first Tribunal to hit my my Reclamation though, and I would have kind of been stuck with a Rotting Negate. But you know, I don't know if that would have changed the texture of the game because I did draw another Reclamation, but I would have been a little deeper in my deck. So I don't know. It's curious, but we're gonna take. Can we do a really short break, like 3 minutes?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, we're just gonna take a short 3-minute break while we set up the next match, where we're gonna run Simic Nexus versus what you got?
Sultai Midrange.
Cool, classic
number one
battle
format.
Yep.
Will be a little bit in between the first 2. Have you noticed that these dice aren't identical?
No, yes, I actually have, but
It is really tilting.
cool.
I can't get over it.
Okay, well, we need to continue to do our job right now, Ross, and I need you to focus.
Why would they do this to me?
I don't know. It's really baffling. Anyway, we'll be right back.